Don't make a sound. The next time it'll be your head.
Welcome to Wayback. I'm Rob Word, your guide to the classics, and today we are going way back to Lee Van Cleef's television debut. If that sounds good to you, make sure you're a subscriber and share this episode with your friends. Sky King was a series that ran Saturday mornings, and it was very popular, and Lee had a terrific debut in this. He plays a commie spy out to get a secret formula. That's right, he's a bad guy, of course, but we love him for that. He had such a wonderful look. That's why Stanley Kramer cast him in High Noon. He had those wonderful features. He played Indians quite often in the early days of television, too. He was an artist in real life and, in fact, almost gave up acting at one time after he'd had an accident and was going through recuperation that lasted almost a full year. So when Sergio Leone came to him and said, "We'd like you to be in the sequel to Fistful of Dollars," Lee was a little hesitant because he had heard all about American actors going to Europe and getting stiffed, not getting paid. So you know what Lee did? He said, "I'll do it if you pay me cash." And so Barbara told me that they sent over a box of cash, and when it arrived, Lee and Barbara started throwing it up in the air in their living room, and so excited, feeling like Uncle Scrooge. I'm happy that happened because it did make Lee a superstar. Lee followed up his role in Sky King with a run of terrific villainous roles in kid westerns like Casey Jones, Fury, Kit Carson, Zorro, and many, many others. He also did non-western roles too. Remember that great Twilight Zone episode he was in with Lee Marvin and Strother Martin called The Grave? That's one to look up. But right now, we're going to look up into the sky because it's Sky King. So buckle up those seatbelts. We'll watch Lee be really mean and nasty, and I'll see you at the end of the show.
Sky started out as a radio program in the 40s. Kirby, how did you land the role of Uncle Sky?
Well, it's rather interesting. A lot of people don't know that it was a soap opera before, and they really don't know, and this is good for trivia, they don't know who Sky King was on radio. Well, if you ever play trivia, you can get a good one on him. It was Earl Nightingale, you know, who now does motivational tapes, rather.
How did you get the role of Sky, though?
Well, I tested for it just like everyone else. The little gal who tested with me for the role of Penny was Barbara Whiting, Maggie Whiting's sister. And they put Gloria Winters and myself and Ron Hagerthy together, and we made the family.
What's the matter, Penny? You look a little pale.
Flying in this rough air all day is too much for me.
You know, someday I'm going to invent a safety belt that'll keep my stomach from bouncing clear up between my shoulders.
Out of the clear blue of the western sky comes Sky King, brought to you by Nabisco, National Biscuit Company. And as we say here in the West, reach, partner, reach for Nabisco. Reach for Nabisco. The bright red seal on the packaging means there's mighty good cookies inside, my friend. Yep, that red Nabisco seal is on all your favorite cookies. Creamy chocolatey Oreo cream sandwich, rich different Swiss cream sandwich, yummy Fig Newtons, crispy sweet Nabisco sugar wafers, and many, many others. So just remember, when it comes to cookies, reach for Nabisco, Nabisco. And now, Sky King.
I need help.
You almost got helped into the hospital.
Please, you must get me a ride. I must get away.
I'm not supposed to pick up hitchhikers, but if you're really in trouble, I guess it's all right.
Oh, thank you, miss. Hurry before they find me.
He didn't harm you, did he?
Why, no.
That's fortunate. I suppose he told you the usual story about being held prisoner?
He didn't have time to say much of anything.
You've had a very narrow escape, young lady.
Narrow escape? From what?
The man you were talking to is one of my patients. Usually quite harmless, but he's having one of his bad spells.
You mean he's crazy?
Well, let's say he's mentally confused. I see that Mark has everything under control.
What are you going to do with him?
Take him back to his room, of course. Oh, forgive me. I'm Dr. Rudolph Meisner. I'm converting the Elston Ranch into a sanatorium.
Oh, I didn't know. I guess that's very nice.
I assure you there'll be no repetition of today's unfortunate incident. I'll see to it personally that...
No! Don't believe it! I'm not crazy! I'm a prisoner!
Shut up, you!
Ask Rita Miller in Rock Point! They are trying to make me tell them...
They always say that, you know. Every deranged person insists he's perfectly normal.
Do the attendants in your sanatorium usually carry guns?
Guns?
He has a pistol in his back pocket.
Why, Mark doesn't even own a pistol.
But I saw...
He smokes a pipe. That's probably what you saw. Goodbye, young lady. I regret this whole incident, but I'm grateful indeed that no real harm was done. Good day.
Now listen, Penny. You shouldn't go jumping to conclusions about people just because you don't like their looks.
But Dr. Meisner is a phony. That little man was scared, but he wasn't crazy.
You are no authority on mental cases.
What about the attendant's gun? Why did Dr. Meisner try to make me think it was a pipe?
I don't know. Maybe just to keep your imagination from running away with you.
Well, the least you can do is call this Rita Miller like the poor little man asked.
Yeah, what can you lose by that, Sky?
Nothing, I guess. Where does Miss Miller live?
Rock Point. And what makes you think she's a miss?
Well, if you can jump to conclusions, why can't I? Hello, Karen. I want to talk to Miss Rita Miller in Rock Point. No, I'm sorry, I don't. All right, I'll hang on. You see, kids, it's dangerous to say things about people unless you have proof.
I know what I saw.
Yes, and you saw very little. The rest was imagination, prejudice, anything you want to call it.
That's not fair. I didn't...
Hello? Oh, I see. All right, thank you. There's no answer at the Miller residence.
Oh, gosh.
But if it's any comfort to you, I was wrong about the miss. It's Mrs. Miller.
Well, there's only one thing to do. We'll have to go see Dr. Meisner and...
We're not going to go see Dr. Meisner and tell him anything.
Oh, Sky, if you'd only seen the way they treated that poor little man.
If you want any peace and quiet around here, I think you better give in.
You too?
Well, I mean, the guy had a gun.
All right, I give up. We'll drive over to the Elston place. But remember, this is just a neighborly call. I don't want you two acting like special investigators from the FBI.
Oh, we won't, Sky. I promise.
Dr. Meisner?
Yes?
I'm Schuyler King, one of your neighbors. I thought we'd drop by and see if there was anything we could do to help you get settled.
Well, that's very kind of you, Mr. King.
This is my niece and nephew, Penny and Clipper, Doctor.
How do you do, sir?
How do you do, young man? Hello, Penny. We've met before.
Yes. How's your patient now?
Much better, thank you. I'm afraid we're in a very sad state of confusion, but won't you come in?
Well, thank you.
We'd be a little further ahead if we hadn't had that unfortunate incident this morning.
Yes, Penny told us about it. She insisted we come over.
Oh, there's no need to worry, I assure you. He's quiet now, and the window bars have been installed.
Oh, it isn't that.
What is it, then?
Well, Penny's been letting her imagination run away with her, so I thought it best to bring her over here to see you before, well, you know how rumors can start.
Indeed I do. My dear, would you feel better if you talked to your friend again? He's more himself now.
You mean we can see him?
Well, it is a little irregular, but I'm sure he won't mind. Come right this way.
Oh, hello. How nice to have callers.
Dickie, this is the young lady you were talking to this morning, remember?
Not very well. I hope I didn't frighten you, miss. When these spells come, they say I'm quite a different person.
You were a different person.
Yeah, that's what they say.
He isn't the man I saw on the road.
What?
Well, he's different. He looks the same, but...
He's just like you described.
Of course he is. My dear, it's true that you've had a rather frightening experience, but you mustn't lose perspective.
Did you get a good look at him, Penny?
Well, things happened kind of fast, but I still think that...
And then, of course, you were very much upset, remember? You even thought Mark's pipe was a gun.
Why, this thing wouldn't hurt you, miss. Not unless you tried smoking it. I don't suppose...
That'll do, Mark.
Yes.
You've been very patient with us, Dr. Meisner.
Well, I guess I was kind of mixed up.
Then perhaps you should apologize to the doctor, Penny.
Oh, not at all. Even the best of us have these little problems.
Thank you, Doctor. We won't impose on you any longer.
Okay, get up.
Pretty good act, wasn't it?
Not bad.
The stage lost a good man when I took up with Meisner.
It wasn't so bad myself.
Come by and see us anytime.
Good. Bye.
Come on. Shall I untie him? His hands are getting kind of blue.
Okay.
Nice work, boys.
I told you I could do it, boss.
All right, Hurst, get ready. Your friends have gone, Dr. Irvin. Are you ready to give me what I want?
I destroyed the formula.
You can remember it.
I discovered that gas by accident. I destroyed it as soon as I realized what it was and how it would be used.
That wasn't very intelligent. Your country would have rewarded you handsomely.
No longer my country. It's run by gangsters.
They still pay for what they want.
You're a fool. They'll use the gas to force America and any other country into submission. They'll wipe out.
Don't wave the flag at me. 20 years in the competence racket has taught me there aren't any honest men. That goes for nations, too.
You're wrong. In this country, there's still freedom.
Get off the soapbox. I'll give you just 2 minutes to remember that formula and write it down.
And if I don't?
You'll never leave this room alive.
I'm an old man. I have to die soon anyway.
Dying can be made rather painful.
My heart is weak. I'm afraid it couldn't stand much pain.
I see. What about your niece? I trust Mrs. Miller's heart is a little stronger than yours.
You wouldn't dare.
Rather fond of her, aren't you?
Why?
I think we'll have Mrs. Miller over here for a little chat. Perhaps then you'll change your mind.
Gosh, you must think I'm an awful dope.
You can't help being a girl.
Well, what's being a girl got to do with it?
Girls never use their heads.
Seems to me I remember you once had everybody chasing a load of bombs that turned out to be fresh pineapples.
Oh, yeah, but that was different.
And what about the time you went to the Grover Bank and you followed that bank robber?
Hello. Hey, please, quiet. Hello? Yes, this is the Flying Crown. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to cancel that call. Hello? Oh, yes, my name is King, Mrs. Miller. I'm sorry about this call. When I placed it, I wanted to ask you about your friend here in the sanatorium, but now I know that...
I don't know anyone in a sanatorium, Mr. King. No, you must have the wrong party.
But he gave your name. He's small, speaks with an accent, has a scar or birthmark on his right cheek.
Why, that's Uncle Roy. Has there been an accident? Where are you calling from? That's impossible. Dr. Urban left for Caltech 2 days ago to give a lecture. He's a chemist.
A chemist? What's his field?
Anesthetics, gases. I don't know very much about it. He's only been here in America about 3 months.
I see. Mrs. Miller, please don't be alarmed, but could you come to Grover right away? If you have no car, I'll send one for you. Good. What's your address? All right. Yes, as soon as possible. Thank you.
What's happened, Sky?
I think we owe Penny an apology. There may be something very wrong with Dr. Meisner.
Oh, I know it.
Mrs. Miller lives at 43 Oakhurst Avenue. Get her here as soon as possible.
Well, aren't you coming with us?
No, you can't land a plane near Rock Point, so take the car.
Well, what are you going to do?
I need Mrs. Miller to identify Dr. Meisner's patient. But in the meantime, he may be in danger. So I'm going to ride over to the Elston place. Get going now.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Penny.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes, come in, please. I'll be ready just as soon as I finish this note for the children, Mr. King.
Did you say King?
Yes, aren't you Mr. King?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that
When did you expect Mr. King?
Oh, at any moment. Who are you?
Well, let's say we're friends of your uncle's.
Oh, then maybe you can tell me what this is all about. First, I get a call from this Mr. King saying that Dr. Urban's in some sort of a sanatorium.
Well, there's no time for explanations.
Well, surely you can't expect me to.
I expect you to do exactly what I tell you, Mrs. Miller. Get the car out of sight. Looks like we're going to have to get rid of this fella King. Won't you sit down, Mrs. Miller?
Don't make a sound. The next time it'll be your head. Put it down. You won't be needing that. Now let's have a look at your patient. Sit over there, no tricks. He's been drugged.
That doesn't concern you.
If this is Dr. Roy Urban, his safety concerns a lot of people. Where are Meisner and the others?
I'm not saying.
So since they're not on the place, or they would have heard that shot. Where'd they go?
I'm not saying.
Doesn't that get a little monotonous?
I'm not.
We'll wait. Maybe we can arrange a little surprise for the doctor.
It's only the kids.
That'll do. Get out of here. Know what you're going to say?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
How do you do? This is Penny King. I'm Clipper King.
How do you do?
Our uncle sent us here to...
I'm sorry you've gone to so much bother.
Oh, no bother at all.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry you've gone to so much trouble over nothing.
Over nothing?
Yes. After Mr. King phoned, I became worried, and so I called Dr. Urban in Pasadena.
You mean you talked to him?
Oh, yes. He's fine. He's enjoying himself immensely.
Well, then who's the man at the sanatorium?
Whoever he is, he's not Uncle Roy. He's in California.
Gosh, this is terrible. I mean, it's fine about your uncle and all, but... Well, May I use your telephone?
Well, who are you going to call? Everybody at the ranch has gone to town, and Sky's not there.
Oh, that's right. It's Saturday, isn't it? Well, I wonder what we ought to do.
I'd invite you to stay to tea, but I'm meeting my husband downtown.
Oh, we wouldn't think of staying. We've caused you enough trouble as it is.
You seem awfully nervous about something, Mrs. Miller.
Me? I have been a little upset, but I don't believe I'm any more nervous than usual.
Oh, yes. Well, Penny, I think we'd better get going.
Stay where you are. Get over there. And you too.
Oh, you bullies. If you didn't have anybody to help you...
I advise you to keep quiet. You're in no position to risk irritating me.
Sky'll do more than irritate you when he finds out.
With the three of you here, I don't think we'll have any trouble with Mr. King or Dr. Urban.
Don't be too sure. When Sky is back...
It's back from where, young man?
I don't know.
Call Mark. We better check things at his end.
Right.
Dr. Urban. Doctor. Dr. Urban. You're going to have to answer that. Get up. Be careful what you say.
Hello? Yeah, everything's okay here. What? Say that again. And if anything was to happen to me, you could take it out on the kids.
What are you talking about?
Take it easy, or Clipper and Penny will get hurt.
What?
King's here holding a gun on me. Yeah. Boss wants to talk to you.
Get back there. If this is a bluff... It's no bluff, Mr. King. I'm calling from the Miller House. Surely. Here. Say something for your uncle. I'll hold it.
Hello, Sky. I'm sorry. We tried to get away.
That's enough. Get back over there. Convinced?
Things have worked out rather well, haven't they?
Now put Mark on.
Yeah, boss. Yeah. He says to give me your gun. I got it.
Hurry it up, Hirsch.
Have you made up your mind where we're taking them?
Yes, back to the King Ranch.
You're crazy.
I need a place near the sanatorium that has a telephone. You heard the girl say no one was there.
But, boss...
It's the last place anyone would suspect. Bring the convertible round back. Come on. Out through the kitchen.
Can't we do something? How can you sit here and...
Quiet, Buster. You're still hopped up from all that dope.
But don't you understand? If they learn how to make that gas, they'll rule the world. It's such a deadly weapon that they could...
I told you to shut up.
You better do as he says.
You've given up?
I didn't say that.
You might just as well. The boss is smart. He ain't gonna. Yeah? Sure, he's been as good as gold, and the old man's come too. Where? Good night, boss. That's... Okay, anything you say. Yeah. It's for you.
Hello? King, I'm giving you just 15 minutes to get here, so don't try to get smart. Even if you could call the police, they wouldn't make it in time. I understand perfectly, yes. He wants to talk to you again.
Boss, he's got me.
He hung up a long time ago. Now, where are they?
Oh, I'll tell you. They're at your place.
My place? Is that on the level?
I swear it.
I called the police.
No, we haven't time for that. Get the keys out of his pocket and start the car. What's in there?
Closet.
Open it. understand, of course, I wouldn't have put you to this inconvenience if Dr. Urban weren't a misguided fanatic. I'm counting on you to make him a little more reasonable. Hirsch.
Yes, boss.
They're due in a few minutes. Go down to the road to meet them.
Meet them?
Yes, check to make sure that Mark has everything under control before you let the car through the gates.
You really don't believe in taking any chances, do you, boss?
Close the gate.
Get your hands up, mister.
Where did you come from?
Never mind that. Just draw your gun with your fingertips and drop it. Now, turn around. It's a good thing the boss sent me down to check you through the gates. Now, get back to the car. You, Grandpa, get in the back seat. No tricks, Grandpa. Your pal will get shot. You, take the wheel. Get started. And remember, this gun will be sticking in your side all the way.
Well, King, looks like things are working out all right in spite of your efforts.
How do you know I didn't phone the sheriff?
I thought of that, too. Just before you arrived, I phoned it myself. We had a very pleasant chat about renewing a driver's license.
You cover all the angles, don't you?
Smart man always does.
You're not smart. You're not even reasonably intelligent.
Our relative positions at this moment would tend to disprove that.
I'm talking about you being a traitor to your country. You know how Dr. Urban's discovery is going to be used.
Of course. What happens to this country, or any other country for that matter, doesn't interest me in the slightest.
You know, you're just about the rottenest excuse for a human being I think I ever saw.
I'd be careful what I said if I were you.
Yes, I'm sure you'd be very careful.
Has he written it yet?
Nah.
I told you to write down the formula for that gas.
I can't.
That will make things rather difficult for Mrs. Miller.
Rita, you must understand. If I give them what they want, thousands of innocent people will die. The whole world will be enslaved.
I understand what you're trying to tell me.
My dear...
It doesn't matter about me.
Think about your children, then.
I am. I wouldn't want them to grow up in your kind of world.
You're a fool. High-sounding words don't have much meaning when you're in pain. You'll change your mind.
I'm not very brave. Perhaps I will change my mind. But my uncle won't change his.
We'll see about that. I'll give you just one last chance.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I can't talk some sense into them.
Go ahead if you think you can.
We're going to make a telephone call to the sheriff again, Meisner. Only this time it won't be about a driver's license. You finished tying him, Fibber?
Yeah, that should hold him for a while.
Well, it's all over. The sheriff will be here any minute.
You know what I don't understand is where did that knife come from?
That's an old trick. Shall we tell him, Doctor?
We shouldn't keep a secret from a friend.
Dr. Urban slipped me the knife when we got out of the car. It's lucky Hirsch didn't see him.
A lot depended on that one little knife.
A lot more depended upon the courage and bravery of Dr. Urban and Mrs. Miller.
We had no choice. You see, we both know what it is like to be without freedom. We know it's worth protecting.
Now you know why I said Meisner wasn't very smart. So long as there are people in this world who love truth and freedom and are willing to die for them, the Meisners of this world don't stand a chance.
Sky King was one of the greats, and it lasted longer than most of the other live-action kid shows. Kirby Grant, Gloria Winters, and Ron Hagerthy, they were terrific as Uncle Sky, Penny, and Clipper King. Lee was terrific too, but the TV Saturday morning live-action shows were replaced by cartoons. So what happened? Well, that was the boom of primetime westerns, and Lee seemed to have never stopped working. He did multiple episodes of so many of the different shows and didn't seem to miss any of them. Rawhide, Maverick, Cheyenne, Lawman, Tales of Wells Fargo, Laramie, Laredo, Wagon Train, Bat Masterson, you name it, Lee did it. But in feature films, he didn't really get a chance to show what he could do. Even in a great A Western like the gunfight at the OK Corral with Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster, Lee has a great scene at the very beginning, but he gets a knife in the chest from Kirk Douglas and then he's gone. We'll be talking more about Lee next time when we go way back for another Lee Van Cleef classic TV episode. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and comment. I'll see you on our next show.